Well, what's up? Long time no see, I think. We gotta have Tenebris Pictura. That's the review of fallacious but interesting action. Don't get me wrong, but it's a puzzle adventure. August 2023 was extremely dense month of releases for the gaming world, with a quantity of top-level games that put enthusiasts in difficulty who usually take advantage of the summer to catch their breath before the big calibers of fall. It hasn't been a month dedicated solely to AAA, as even slightly smaller productions have the opportunity to get involved and noticed. Now, Interdimensional Games SL tries to fit into this long list. The team already creator of Megatron Rainfall has made its new game available today on PC, PlayStation and Xbox. Tenebris Pictura, an adventure based on the puzzles and action that intrigues but struggles to convince. For all details, do read the Tenebris Pictura review. I mean, man, I will leave the link where my scenario is on my webpage, so you can read it, but I know guys you are too lazy to read it, so... We are Magnus, a paranormal investigator who returned to the living after a near-death experience that changed him forever. Thanks to his abilities, he is able to see and face creatures of other dimensions, understanding the dark miseries that lurk behind the scenes. The story of him begins of his journey to an island where an old friend of his resides whose daughter has gone missing. The police investigated do not proceed, and Magnus immediately understands that there is a force outside our dimension that influences the events. At the center of the story, there is a sect and a series of the strange paintings that act as portals for evil creatures that will have to take down one at a time. The narrative is Lovecraftian in inspiration, as you might have guessed, is mostly delivered via a series of controversial echoes left behind by evil doors we're chasing. However, to unlock these contents, we will have to spend a currency that is found by exploring these environments, which in any case is quite generous in this sense. The real point is, the whole plot is at core much simpler than it might seem. It's simply presented in a non-linear way, and it's small fragments, and it's more mysterious than it would be if it were presented in more classical way. Also, don't expect interesting characters, as you can barely remember a couple of names or even just turning points. Most of the time we play and explore without discovering almost anything, and often have the feeling of not having a real reason why we are going to a new place. The narrative justification is the magical powers tell us to go there, and that's it. The ending also comes a bit suddenly, as it's only accessible after obtaining a certain number of rewards other than ones mentioned above. There are many more rewards than those required to obtain the basic ending, but most are so well hidden that reaching even the minimum number is not guaranteed and requires several re-explanations of places already visited. This causes a noticeable drop in pace, especially towards the end, which is not particularly intense even during the rest of the game. Let's be clear, the Victorian setting of Tenebris Pictura is intriguing, and we completed the approximately 6 hours of the game without being bored by a narrative component of the atmosphere, but it's clear that a little more substance and depth has needed in the wave. And Tenebris Pictura is therefore a bit lazy in its narrative presentation, but luckily it doesn't scream on playful content. While not very long, it's very quick and administering the gameplay phases, and you continuously move from one area to another, solving puzzles and fighting. Let's start from the battles, which is the least convincing component. Along the way, Magnus will unlock new powers, some of which are only useful in exploration, while the others are useful in, guess what, combat. However, it's not the man who fights, but his spirit, which we can separate from the flesh at any moment. When this happens, however, the protagonist's body will freeze, and therefore we will have to be good and hiding in the safe spot, while we go to the face and various creatures. In this sense, it is a pity that everything is always resolved in the same way. You leave Magnus away from the battle, perhaps hidden even behind an object you will fight in the spirit. There's never really a need to defend the body, and it should never be used to decoy to distract creatures, because it too takes damage. our spirit is able to use various blocking moves such as creating a wall of lighting, perseverance, passage, and range attacks, as well as a simple melee combo. Furthermore, Magnus can permanently place an object among a few of his choice, which creates an area of damage or protection. The end result throughout is that some battles are resolved in instant while others drag too long, with the enemies capable of destroying us in a few attacks and forcing us to play cat and mouse or keep running in circles until skills recharge and allow us to inflict damage from a save point. There are also moments where you can use the skills in combination in an interesting way, but it's and all very repetitive and sometimes even very annoying. When Tenebris Pictura excels in the puzzle component, every single location in the game is unique, with different puzzles based on various powers we are going to unlock, and in the combined use of Magnus Spirit and Body. The variety is truly remarkable and new ideas are added every few minutes. Each area also has secondary zones, and it is necessary to return to places already visited after figuring out new ways to solve puzzles and after obtaining the new abilities. There are occasionally sections that are a little more, I should say, platforming, not very comfortable due to the top view, but there are negative moments in the mints out, so many well throughout solutions. If you enjoy solving puzzles, you probably are the best audience for Tenebris Picture. So the conclusion is that Tenebris Picture is a mediocre game, but it's with its own charm. The setting and story have an aura of Victorian mystery that carries throughout the end, even if its practicing isn't great at end and balance. There are far less substance than one might initially think. The combat system is a bit boring, but is least relevant part of the whole package, which is based about all puzzles, which always interesting and about all extremely varied. An idea is never recycled and very honestly amazing. So the cons is plot. It's not that interesting, some technical limitations, and I should say from the pros, it's a really good atmosphere, a pleasant setting as well. So, yeah, don't forget to comment and subscribe. Thank you for listening, watching, or just a reminder, you can read it on my website. Thank you so much. Peace, subscribe.